All right, post-gym car talk, but this is going to go before the lift. I didn't really think I was going to film today, but I was like, screw it, might as well post my hamstring day. But yeah, I just hit my hamstring focused leg day. I did 6 sets of hamstring, 3 sets of quads, 2 calves, 2 abs. Did a little bit of cardio. So that was my day. Yesterday was a rest day. And at that, it was an actual rest day. I think I came close to like 3,000 total steps of the day. And yeah, I kind of just rotted at home, organized stuff, cleaned, did a whole lot of nothing. I went to a wedding. I kept my calories pretty good. I probably ate around maintenance for the activity level that I did yesterday. Yesterday I woke up at 203.4 and this morning I was 209. So I had, water weight, flux stations and that stuff. So I'm not too bummed about that. But yeah, today we're gonna hop back on track. It felt really good to do like nothing yesterday. Even though I haven't been hitting legs like that, getting between 12 to 18,000 steps daily starts to fatigue the legs after a while. So it was nice to take a little breather from that, realize that I needed a breather and I was due for just a little rest day. I didn't really gain or lose anything from yesterday, so 2 thumbs up. Today we're gonna try to get at least 10,000 steps minimum. It is Sunday. I typically meal prep my weekly lunches. I'll stock up on veggies, my meats. I'll meal prep my Ninja Creamies for the week also. I'm almost thinking I might go back to the gym later tonight and rip another cardio session just to ensure that. See, right now it's 12:45 and I'm at 5,000 steps, so not great, but we'll see. Or I might just stick around the basement and do the walking pad or stationary bike. Yeah, so that'll be my Sunday. Go home, eat, probably organize, clean some stuff up, meal prep. That'll take hour and a half. And go from there. See if I'm in the mood to go back to the gym or just go down to the basement. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm thinking about doing these raw training videos more often. I like filming the one I did last post. I'm like, yeah, screw it. I'll film again today. It was kind of fun. Just slap a voiceover of what I'm doing and go from there. It's a lot easier to post, a lot easier to maintain on a weekly regimen. So we'll see. Let me know your guys' thoughts, opinions. So like I said, this is post-gym talk, but I'm gonna post it in front of my lift so you guys can see what's up. And yeah, I'll maybe add in another talking segment that'll be after the lift, just so I don't end on that note. Yeah, I'll catch you guys. All right, so back to the voiceover. If I sound a little splotchy, I'm on the walking pad, so might be a little out of breath here. But anyway, first on the regimen today for hamstrings, I'm doing this new RDL or like SDL hamstring variant. It's a great hip hinge variant that I'm trying to get better at. As you can see, I use the Smith machine, but you can go to a flat rack. Pretty much, you're gonna put the bar around your waist level, and then you're gonna hinge forward with the weight. Today I was working with 85s. I definitely think in the future I'm gonna be able to ramp this number up, but I'm trying to critique my form as best as possible. And as you can see here, I'm really focusing on the stretch and the eccentric being pretty controlled on the way down. As you can see, I don't really lock out when I'm all the way at the top. I like to keep constant tension on my hamstrings for this movement. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely tricky at first, but it's definitely something I want to keep in program for a while and just get better at. I think this is definitely gonna be a good thing to put in my program when I'm on a surplus and have a little bit more calories in the system. And here I sit too at a different angle. As you can see, I'm still getting that deep stretch without fully locking out the top. Yeah, my form does need some work. I'm still trying to keep the top half of my back pretty locked and keep everything in check here, nice and controlled. But yeah, definitely gonna keep this in check and work on this for the weeks to come. For this, I'm still keeping 2 sets of between 6 and 9. So I can go fairly heavy, but still aim for that high hypertrophy window. So pretty happy with that. All right, just got off the walking pads. Hopefully the audio is a little bit clearer. But as you can see, we're on hamstring curls now. I'm doing 2 sets of these, anywhere between 7 to 9 reps. Going heavy enough, but still getting a nice window of hypertrophy. And as you can see coming up, I'm going to be leaning forward so I can really optimize on the stretch here, really getting full exposure to my hamstrings. Half the times when I do these voiceovers, it kind of sounds like I have a stroke going on, but all good. Again, really focusing on the stretch here and just having nice and controlled reps. I like to be in a pretty slow state when I go up on the eccentric. I like feeling the burn, like feeling the tension on the hamstrings. And honestly, I feel like this is where I got most of my growth over the past few years of just hitting hamstrings. I love this new machine our gym just got, so I've been utilizing this. This is always a staple, always an S tier movement. Then on to leg press. Today I was not really feeling the leg press. Here's my first set. I only did 4 plates. Typically I'll go up to like 4 or 5. But as you can see, I'm trying to do a hamstring variant. So I'm gonna have my toes sticking off the pad and really targeting my hamstrings and glutes for this. I like to get a deep stretch on this. But anyways, today I wasn't really feeling it. My hips were very tight, even though I stretched out, loosened out. I was not really feeling it. But you get the gist as far as the leg press goes. I like to have a slow eccentric as always and really focus on the target muscles here. And I came to realize that the stretch is not really optimal for this. I'm only going down to about a 90. Even though I feel great activation in my hamstrings and glutes, I don't really think it's ideal. It wasn't feeling great today, so I think I'm going to switch this up. But hey, you never know. Sometimes you got to monkey around for the first few weeks of a new program and just figure out what works, what doesn't work. And I fear this will not work, so I'm probably going to sub this out for something else next hamstring day. So be on the lookout for that. And here's set two at a different angle. Again, I'm doing 2 sets of this. I really like having a leg press in most of my leg days. I think from now on, hamstring bias leg presses, I'm going to rule out. I do prefer a quad press leg press where my feet are going to be more narrow, more centered on the pad. But as far as hamstrings go, I think there's a lot better options out there. And for the amount of pressure, the amount of stress and energy that goes into this movement, I'd rather put that energy elsewhere into a better exercise and really optimize on that. This is definitely a movement that's very taxing, and I get very fatigued after I finish this set. So I think I'm going to sub it out for something less taxing, but also as beneficial. If any individuals are running this in the program, I really recommend finding a leg press so you can get a deep stretch on. As you can see here, I'm getting to a 90 and then even back another inch or so. So I am getting the stretch, but really focus on what your goal is here. If you're working on a good stretch, form, eccentric, whatever, what muscles you're going to target, just really focus on that and you'll be solid. And that's going to sum up the hamstring part of today's workout. On to quads. So like I said previously, I'm doing 3 sets of these because I have no other quad movements in my regimen right now. Yes, you can count the leg press as a form of quads, but if it's hamstring biased, I'm not counting that. So we're counting 3 sets of quads for the weekly total here. And nothing too fancy about this. Is your standard leg extension. I'm really focusing on the squeeze and making sure my quads are activated. My quads are feeling great today. I like this new machine we got. You can actually get a deep stretch, get a good angle, and I really feel like it's hitting all 3 heads of the quad pretty equally. So big fan of this. And again, 3 sets of about 7 to 10 reps. I do like to aim a little higher on these for an additional like 9 or 10 reps total. I like having that hypertrophy window and factor. I do like going a little extra on this. I think it can be beneficial to go higher volume on leg extensions, but that could just be me. I'm not a huge fan of sticking around like the 5 or 6 rep range. I know a lot of people online do, but that's not really my cup of tea. I've noticed a fair amount of growth by going between like 7 and 10. So that's my sweet spot. That's my window. That works best for me. Did you hit calves this week? Yeah, I'm talking to you. You know what time it is. 2 sets of calves. Our gym doesn't really have any good calf raise machines. We have a donkey calf raise press, but I'm really not a fan of that. It kind of hurts your leg when you get enough weight on there. So I'm going over to the leg press and just going to work on this. As you can see, the way I position my toes, I'll go down onto the balls of my feet and really focus on keeping my knees and legs locked. And the only variable is me just flexing my calf up and down. Nothing too fancy. It's going to be your typical calf press. But yeah, I enjoy doing these. Typically for these, I'll stick around 2 sets between 10 and 15 reps. Again, calves are one of your muscles that can take higher volume. Of course, you're on them all day, every day. So I like to go higher volume on this, and I've noticed pretty steady growth. So that's where I'm sitting on this. Nothing fancy, but calves, they got to be hit. And finally, we're on to abs. This will be the last 2 sets of today's workout. I've been liking hitting an accessory movement after my leg days because typically my leg days, I won't hit as many total sets for the day. So I like to throw in an accessory movement, whether that's abs, forearms, rear delts, whatever it might be. And our gym just got this new ab crunch machine, so I've been rocking with this. The stretch isn't really optimal, but I get a good squeeze on my abs and I can feel it activate. So I'm going to try to progress on this over the next few weeks. I might change it up. I might do like a standard ab crunch with the cables, but I've been rocking with this. So we're going to keep it in program and try to progress as best as possible. But yeah, again, 2 sets on this, really focusing on my form, being controlled. I like to stick around between 8 and 12 reps on this, a little higher, but again, volume, I think an accessory movement such as abs, it can definitely take higher volume. So sticking to that. A little bloated this morning, had a good amount of carbs in the system. Yeah, this lighting's not that good, but you see the vision. Not too bad. So what, I did 2 sets of RDLs, 2 sets of hamstring curls, 2 sets of the hamstring leg press, so 6 sets of hamstrings, 3 quad, 2 calves, 2 abs. So not too bad today. But yeah, I'm gonna go over and do my voiceover for my lift today. We're gonna substitute that leg press. Not a huge fan of it. My hip flexors were pretty inflamed afterwards, and it's not really worth it. I need a substitute with a better hamstring movement. Yeah, you see the vision. Quad veins slowly but surely coming back. It's fine. Elbow's down today, but we're good. So, decent lift. Gonna go home. Grub. Gonna knock out some more cardio after this, so the next few minutes, and then probably more cardio later tonight. So I'll see you guys back in the car. All right, little segue. So post-workout, I kind of got some goy slop going on. We've got 2 spinach wraps, a bowl of tuna, coleslaw, a little bit of guac, and these protein Doritos. I found out these protein Doritos do not have a negative impact on my digestion, so we've been eating those every so often. Good macros, and they actually taste decent, so yeah. But yeah, we're gonna make some little tuna burritos, I guess, with some coleslaw and some chips and guac, and then eat the rest of the coleslaw. So that'll be today's post-workout. Good protein, good carbs. Finished product, nothing too special. But yeah, we got the spinach wraps, we got tuna, guac, coleslaw, a little bit of the protein chips. I was really craving some guac, so we got some healthy fats in the system. And then here's the remains. So we're gonna eat this. It was a little higher calorie. I couldn't say what it is off the top of my head, but that's fine. Rest of the day, we're just gonna eat smaller portions and go from there, stay in the deficit. And here's a little time lapse of today's meal prep. Nothing too fancy. I have chicken, turkey, broccoli, asparagus, sweet potatoes, corn, sweet peas, and cauliflower rice. But yeah, this took about an hour and a half, kind of locked into flow state here. Made meals for this week, as I preach on like TikTok and Instagram. It's very convenient. I think junk food is a very convenient thing, and that's why a lot of lazy people typically lean towards junk food because it's convenient. So my ideology is if I can make the healthy food and the right food convenient for myself, I'm going to do so. So I make this week's lunches. It's easy for me just to grab these and put in my lunch sack for this week. So I make my lunches, a few dinners, and then snacks throughout the week. And again, it's nothing fancy. It's just meats, veggies, and that's about it. But that's all I need. And typically anything else I need, I'll just cook myself. But this saves a lot of time, a lot of energy, so I can suck it up for an hour and a half each and every week. I like knocking this out on Sunday. That way I can start my week off on a good note and just be very well organized. And then as you can see here, I'm also meal prepping Ninja Creamies. 2 scoops of protein per cup. I really like doing this. And I realized I can use water as long as the protein scoops are generous. So like I use rice proteins. Those scoops are pretty big. So 2 of those plus water turns out into a pretty good ice cream consistency. So I'm not complaining there. Made that up, labeled it, and I'm smooth sailing.
And then,
And this would be the aftermath of today. I got some leftover sweet peas, cauliflower rice, but here's all the bagged frozen veggies. Yes, I could get fresh veggies, but it's a lot more convenient for myself. So I just buy them frozen and meal prep from there. And then finally, here's me walking on the walking pad, watching a little bit of the Sam, getting my final steps in.
Right,
and also, yeah, you got the meal prep in the fridge. The mini fridge downstairs is nothing but meal prep and energy drinks. So yeah, all stocked up for the week. It's going to be a great week. I'm glad this Sunday I was able to lock in and get everything I need done. And I'm going to be smooth sailing for this coming week. 2 more post-video editing, final clip here. Let me know if you guys like the raw footage today. I know the voiceover is a little sloppy today, but that's okay. I'm going to try to get better at it. But yeah, that's the gist of my Sunday, my hamstring day, my meal prep. Again, meal prep is very convenient. I recommend doing it. I know it can be a hassle to people. You got to do a lot of dishes. You got to have all the food on dispose. But it saves so much time and energy throughout the week. It's very convenient. So if you can suck it up for an hour, hour and a half, one day out of your week, it's definitely worth it. I would do it each and every week. I wish I started this way sooner. I've only been doing it the past 4 weeks, and I've came to realize that meal prepping is very much a very convenient thing. So let me know what you guys thought about today's video, your opinions, and without further ado, eat your veggies, do your cardio, drink your water. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace!